This is WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. Sam Dick has the night off. Trending right now, Corbin police are investigating a double shooting in Whitley County this morning. A man is in the hospital after being shot multiple times at his home on West 7th Street. Police don't yet know who did it or why. That story is the most clicked on right now on WKYT.com, followed by a deadly police-involved shooting in Rowan County. And WikiLeaks releases Clinton campaign emails. Here's what we're following right now at 6:30. A well-known Southern Kentucky businessman is fighting for his life. Police say someone shot him multiple times this morning. WKYT's Victor Puente has the latest on the man's condition and the investigation. A Rowan County man is dead following an officer-involved shooting at a home near Moorhead. Kentucky State Police say a trooper shot and killed 22-year-old Matthew Brewer after he pointed a gun at one of the troopers. We'll have the latest on what happened.
Folks became aware that by having a delinquent tax bill is a very bad thing for you as a property owner. So our pay rates started to rise.
Time is ticking to get your property taxes paid. WKYT's Miranda Combs visits Fayette County's vault to see which properties are delinquent. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now. It's been a cloudy day for most of the day, but the sun is out right now.
Yeah, you get into central Kentucky, we're getting the sun, all right? But I feel bad for talking about our sun because of this. Look at this. That's Jackson right now. They've got the clouds, southern and southeastern Kentucky.
But look at these colors.
Yeah, the colors are making an appearance out there, so that's at least you got that going for you, folks. So the cloud cover eastern Kentucky, keeping temperatures in some cases into the upper 50s this afternoon. Live look at our WKYT weather garden. Still some clouds out there, but at least we had some rays of sunshine this afternoon. Didn't do a whole lot for the temperatures, and yeah, some of our fall colors are beginning to show up as well. 60 to 65 this afternoon, as good as it could get for many of us into central Kentucky, eastern part of the state. Look at this, 59 Jackson, 70 Middlesboro. That colder air getting to the Virginia border and said, you know what, I like the Commonwealth of Kentucky as opposed to the Commonwealth of Virginia. It just didn't cross over the border, so it kind of hanging into central and eastern Kentucky. Defender Radar Network, I've got no precipitation to show you. A little cloud cover that is out there, especially farther south that you go. How about the sunset out there this evening? I-64 and north, especially where you've got a little bit of cloud cover still. It's going to be 3 gorgeous sunsets in a row. High pressure back to our west. We're on the good side of this right now. But as this high works back to the northeast, it's going to get pushed around by a little weak disturbance. Notice all the clouds that are out here into parts of Arkansas and Missouri. Those clouds are going to try to get back in here to start the weekend. And there's a chance that tomorrow evening and into early on Saturday, we could get a couple of showers from that. And that's on the leading edge of a big spike in your thermometer. 7-day forecast gets a little wild, at least in the temperature department, both for the good and maybe for the bad. Jennifer, we'll take a look at that when I come back here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Tonight, a man and his wife are in the hospital after a shooting in Whitley County. Corbin police say Steve Pataki was shot several times this morning at the couple's home on West 7th Street. WKYT's Victor Puente is at the scene with our top story at 6:30.
Friends of the couple tell me they still don't know what happened. They're waiting for answers while police continue this investigation. Corbin police say the shooting happened around 10 this morning. They say Steve Pataki was shot multiple times at his home on 7th Street.
I just couldn't imagine who could have done this and why.
Pataki was taken to UT Hospital in Knoxville. His wife, who was in the home at the time, was taken to a hospital in Corbin. Police say their teenage twins were at school.
Steve and Julia both are very nice, and they would help anybody that needed help. And the kids, they're just very polite kids, and it's just going to be sad for the kids.
Police haven't named a suspect or said if they've made an arrest. They say they won't be able to release any more information on what happened in the home until after they're able to speak to Pataki's wife. The couple owns a locksmith business as well as a restaurant that just opened a couple of months ago. The manager at that restaurant tells me currently they plan to continue with business as normal. In Whitley County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Corbin Middle School is about a block away from where the shooting happened. The school was put on lockdown this morning for about an hour. Investigators are in Rowan County trying to piece together exactly what happened before an officer-involved shooting. State police say they were serving an arrest warrant on 22-year-old Matthew Brewer at a home on Old Hilda Road last night. That's just north of Moorhead and off Kentucky 32. They say when they got there, they made contact with Brewer before he ran inside. They say Brewer then tried to escape from a back door where he pointed a gun at Trooper Michael Armstrong. Investigators say Trooper Armstrong was forced to use his weapon. Brewer's friends say they're shocked by the shooting.
Really shocking, really shocking. Just, you know, something to happen so close to home, you know, someone you know so well, you know, it's a real shame for everyone involved.
Kentucky State Police say Trooper Armstrong was not injured. They're still investigating the shooting. We now know the names of 3 people killed in a crash in Bell County yesterday afternoon near Pineville. Police say an SUV crossed the center lane and hit another vehicle head-on, killing that driver, 51-year-old William Hampton, and his 53-year-old wife, Dina. The driver of the SUV, 51-year-old Bobby Miller, also died. After the crash, police say a third vehicle tried to avoid the scene and struck a guardrail. No one in that vehicle was injured. The focus of Hurricane Matthew is shifting more toward cleanup. Several Kentucky-based firefighters who helped with storm relief efforts are back in the bluegrass tonight. WKYT's Monique Blair talked to one Lexington firefighter about his trip.
Hold on. We're coming. Hey,
we're coming for you.
It's something that I've never seen before. Literally going in there and opening up doors or opening up windows and the water's to the ceiling.
Lexington firefighter Captain Ryan Hogston is describing his water rescue mission in North Carolina. Hogston, along with 2 other Lexington firefighters, Wes Gillum and Lieutenant Paul Richards, hooked up with a team of 80 rescuers from different states. They got boats and floated door to door in Fayetteville.
The first house that we came to, we actually had people banging on the windows as we went by in boats.
Captain Hogston and his team members worked 12-hour shifts at night with little breaks.
We actually had to break into somebody's house to go in and get a family of 4 out. The person that was there was a handicapped person, and her family was basically holding her head above the water when we got there. It was a dire issue, so we had to actually lift her out of the kitchen window over top of the sink, what used to be the sink area, and to put her in our boat.
Captain Hogston didn't get the name of the family that he and his crew helped. They had to move on to the next rescue. In 2 days, these firefighters saved 7 people.
It made me thankful for what I have now. I can only imagine what would happen if it was my family. I'm just glad there's teams out there that are able to risk it all to go help people.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
This type of water rescue is nothing new to the Lexington Fire Department. They even have scenarios where they will flood mock houses and areas around them for training purposes. After months of construction, Lexington's new Public Safety Operations Center is up and running. The building will house the E911 Lex Call and the Division of Emergency Management. City leaders say having these services all under one roof will make things more efficient in case of disaster. The building is near the intersection of Versailles and Cisco Road. It used to be home to the Juvenile Detention Center. Kentucky Republican Congressmen Andy Barr and Hal Rogers both talking at the Public Policy Luncheon in Lexington today. The focus was on encouraging Lexington businesses to invest in eastern Kentucky. We also asked Congressman Rogers about the presidential race. In the past week, some Republicans have said they'll no longer support GOP nominee Donald Trump after hearing a tape of him making lewd comments about women. But Congressman Rogers says he'll still vote for Trump.
Well, I support him. I don't like some of the language that's been published lately. It's abhorrent. But when you think about the alternative, and that's Hillary Clinton as president, we can't stand another 4 years of Obama-like policies that she would bring.
Earlier this week, Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell refused to talk about the presidential race when asked about it during an event in Danville. The Fayette County clerk is keeping track of people who don't pay their property taxes. Find out who owes the most. WKYT's Miranda Combs joins us in less than 3 minutes to break down the news. And Coach John Calipari is excited about his team. He talked fast play and defense today at Media Day. Dave Baker joins me to talk about it later in the Sports Buzz. Welcome back to WKYT News at 6:30 on the CW Lexington. It's property tax time, and Fayette County Clerk's Office is keeping track of people who haven't paid. The clerk says delinquent property taxes range from a few $100,000 to thousands of dollars. It just depends on the property. But he says the number of property owners with delinquent property taxes has actually gone down in the past few years because interest and penalties are substantial.
Folks became aware that by having a delinquent tax bill is a very bad thing for you as a property owner. So our pay rates started to rise.
To help us break down the news, Miranda Combs joins us now. And Miranda, you had to go into a vault for this story.
We were just talking about this. You've never been in there, right?
I have not, no.
It's down in the Fayette County Clerk's office. It's a rather large room, and it's fire protected and flood protected, but there's all these documents that go all the way back to 1794, marriage licenses, deeds, mortgages, and these delinquent tax properties.
This is a place where the public can actually go in there and look up to see who has and hasn't paid their property taxes.
They can look at anything, and what we found was quite a few people that haven't paid their property taxes. Now, it's actually a very small percentage considering the amount of people in Fayette County. They say it's about 2% or less of the people actually owe property taxes. But we put a list online on WKYT.com of the top 10 that owe the most. And I think the most was about $12,000. But funny, just the week before, someone had come in and cut a check for $25,000 to get their properties in order. So it runs the gambit.
So people who go beyond the deadline, though, they can still get caught up without, they have to pay back the interest, though, right?
Yes, but the point is like you said, and the county clerk was saying, the longer you go, the more penalties are piling up, and people realize that nowadays, and so they really try to stay ahead of it, and that's why they've been able to keep those numbers so low. But they're still there, and we have them for you on WKYT.com.
All right, thank you very much. Very interesting, Miranda. And you can join the conversation by leaving your comments on WKYT.com or on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins me now from the First Alert Weather Center. And Chris, it's quite a difference from this time yesterday, 24 hours ago. What a difference it makes.
Yeah, you've got a big temperature swing that is out there. And right now, we've got temperatures that are running about 11 degrees colder than what we had 24 hours ago in Lexington. Hello. 9 degrees colder into Danville and Jackson. How about your Prestonsburg? 16 degrees colder. So compared to yesterday, you are colder than everybody else at this same point. Right now it's 59 degrees into Prestonsburg and Jackson, 64 into Lexington, but that's dropping, and we'll drop it quickly into the upper 50s here shortly. Notice how skies are beginning to clear. Fall colors are showing up right now as we continue to get in on some late day sun. Look at those shadows, though. They're growing longer and longer as the sun gets lower and lower on that horizon. High pressure right on top of the Des Moines area, working towards Chi-Town. We're on the good side of that, so it's a northerly wind. Cold front's off to our south, and that front is putting the brakes on right now. Back edge of this especially going to check up, lift its way back to the north. And that's where we're getting in on some moisture right now into parts of the Ozarks in just the form of some clouds. But those clouds eventually may try to produce a little shower action for those Friday evening plans. Right now, central and eastern Kentucky, nothing's going on. Where you have a little sun versus clouds in a matter of just about 5 minutes. For a lot of us, that sunset's going to be absolutely spectacular. So as we go through the 24-hour planner, tomorrow, 65 to 70. So we'll add a few degrees on top of your car thermometer. Chance for a raindrop or two for Friday evening high school football action. Hour-by-hour forecast. Let's run through it, at least to start the weekend. Tonight, clouds, some stars, but each run that I get from this model suggests temperatures are up just a little bit, just simply because we're going to notice that front lifting back to the north. So that moisture that's out there to our southwest by 5 o'clock tomorrow is going to try to spit out a shower into southern Kentucky. Now, if you're a high school football fan, you're looking at this and you're thinking, boy, there's a little green on that map. Yeah, that could be a shower for some of those games tomorrow night. Nothing that is widespread that I'm seeing right now. We go into Saturday, flow is from the southwest, temperatures are going to take off as well. So if you get under some clouds or a shower, you got to settle for 70 to 75, huh? Yeah, that's tough. Into the afternoon, though, outside of any shower, temperatures can hit the upper 70s. And then the numbers start to take off. 78 with an 80 possible on Sunday. I think we hit the low 80s Monday and Tuesday before the bottom falls back out next week. Earlier this week, Jennifer, we were kidding about taking a little Dramamine for the wild roller coaster ride for temperatures over the next week. And that's probably what we're going to be dealing with. 16 degrees colder in some cases now compared to yesterday.
And all the people suffering like me, with allergies right now.
You're looking for that frost, aren't you? You want that first frost, don't you? Yeah. Hang in there. Into next week, toward the following week, pattern's going to start to skew a little colder. Between now and then, though, we still got at least one more warm shot.
All right.
Not yet. No frost on the pumpkin yet, Buzz. Give it a few weeks.
All right. Well, what does Coach Cal really think about this year's team? Dave Baker joins me with the Sports Buzz next. It's time for the Sports Buzz. Each night we talk to Dave Buzz Baker to get an inside look at what's going on. It was UK Media Day. I was there today. The usual excitement about this team, and Coach Cal is feeling good about these players.
We've kind of heard it all before. It used to be that we hadn't heard anything from these guys in a while, but Cal is like nonstop with these appearances and things over the last month. But it seems like he's been talking for a long time about this Wildcat basketball team. But today, as Jennifer said, officially Media Day. And if you're a Wildcat fan and this didn't fire you up, nothing will.
If you're 10,000 feet looking down, I would say we're going to be a mauling, helping, rotating, shot-blocking team. Probably picks the ball up the court because we can. On offense, a team that tries to score within 3 seconds, and if not, is doing something to attack the rim or throw it to the post. That's not there. Probably some sort of pick and roll.
As they say in Chris's hometown, that Adebayo fella that you saw right there, that's the mauling part of this thing, and they have not had that before. He is a beast. Big Blue Madness tomorrow. We'll get you all set for it. 5:30, this time tomorrow night, you'll be seeing Before the Madness. Christy Thomas will join me for a 90-minute preview of the Wildcats from Rupp. It's tomorrow night here on the CW Lexington.
So no Sports Buzz tomorrow night because we will be getting you ready for Big Blue Madness.
It'll be all buzz. Okay, but here...
That's true. It's all buzz.
Here you go now. The buzz in the SEC has been this LSU-Florida game, right?
Right. We finally have a date.
A lot of people were saying, Commissioner Sankey Commissioner Sankey came off the top rope on this one today. They're going to play on November 19th, and they're going to play in Baton Rouge, not in Gainesville.
So Florida loses their home game.
But they say the insurance that the league has got will cover the losses. Listen to this, what Jeremy Foley said. Quote, "We made the decision to play the game in Baton Rouge. The conference asked us to work to find a solution to working with LSU, yet LSU was never a true partner in our discussion."
Ouch.
I mean, this just goes on and on. This is going to be something because it's going to have an impact on the SEC championship game, and the commissioner said anybody that did not play 8 league games would not be eligible to go to that championship
game. Well, and we talked about that. If Florida finished 6-1 and Tennessee finished 6-2, that's not fair. So now we're going to find out.
But listen, we've had a 2-loss conference champion before too. What if Alabama were to lose twice and LSU plays 1 less game? Could have worked on the western side as well.
Now it'll be fair.
All right, hockey. We don't talk about hockey a lot, but take a look at this last night. I mean, true homegrown phenom. This is what everybody dreamed about back in the day of the Blades here in town. But in the first game that he played, this is #1 draft pick, Austin Matthews. He's a kid, he's from a Hispanic background who was in Arizona, who fell in love with hockey, went and played in Sweden. He was the #1 draft pick. He's only 19 years old, and in his first ever NHL game last night, he scored 4 goals. He's the 3rd youngest player in NHL history to score 4 goals. The hockey people in the world believe that this kid is the kind of young man, the kind of transcending player that can really get people fired up about hockey in the United States. What a debut for the Toronto Maple Leafs, even though they lost the game.
That's a great story. And we have another great story. We've had a lot of national anthem stories lately, but not like this.
And they haven't been ones that you've wanted to talk about, but take a look at this.
By the dawn's early light.
That is senior volleyball player Marina Garcia. She plays in San Antonio, Texas. And, you know, they have the anthem on the speaker system and everything. And I guess the DVD or the iPod or something shorted out. And so she just stepped right up and got the microphone and got it going and got it done. And I'm telling you, after all those other stories that we've seen, that's some kind of deal to step up and do that. So hats off to her.
Good for her. All right. Thank you, Dave. Ahead tonight here on the CW Lexington, an hour of Family Feud is next. Then at 8, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, followed by Supernatural. And over on WKYT, NFL Thursday Night Kickoff is at 7:30. 3 hours of football, the Denver Broncos taking on the San Diego Chargers, followed by WKYT News later at 11:30. Finally, take a look at this. A Western Kentucky University professor who set a record-breaking performance on a TV game show is using some of his winnings to emphasize his belief in hands-on learning. WKU art history professor Guy Jordan walked onto the set of 500 Questions this summer and left with more than $160,000. And now he's paying it forward. Jordan is giving $500 scholarships to Western students studying abroad in Venice next summer.
To get students who study art and art history overseas to see these things in person is so important, I think, for art history education.
16 students received part of the prize money, totaling around $8,000 in donations. That's a great way to put the money to good use.
You ever seen that show?
I didn't even know it was a show.
I'm the same way. You can win $160K on it?
Yeah, let's do it.
We know it's
Come on,
real.
let's go.
We know it's real now, huh? Something else that's real in the world of weather, a little sun into central Kentucky tomorrow. Southern parts of the area, a little cloud cover. It's a mainly dry day. We look good if we're heading out to Keeneland tomorrow. High school football action, small chance for a shower. That includes Saturday as well. Look at that early next week. We make a run at 80, then temperatures will try to take a dive as we go toward the second half of next week.
All right, Buzz, you spent the day in Paintsville today. How was your trip to Johnson County?
It was good. It was good. Down visiting with some folks, and it was a little rainier down there than it was here, right?
How's the Mountain Parkway? Treat you well?
I did not see any signs that said home of Chris Bailey or anything. But I see where they're carving out a place there.
You know what? Yes, they should. You know what? The leaves, I'm noticing the leaves are a little more colorful right now.
We are just this close. Next weekend, they'll be
Can't wait.
They look great.
Thanks so much for joining us for WKYT News at 6:30. Don't forget, Before the Madness tomorrow at 5:30.